Hi friends, and welcome once again to Degree. Today I'm going to share with you a story about the life of a pack of wolves, their lives, the afterlife, and the life after. These wolves lived in the Yellowstone National Park in the United States. Unfortunately, people were scared of these wolves. Scare and superstition made the people kill these wolves. One by one, the wolves were killed, and by the mid 1920s, there was not even a single wolf left in the Yellowstone National Park. Truly cruel as it sounds, what was surprising, however, was what happened after these wolves were killed. A totally unrelated species, the beavers, started disappearing from the Yellowstone National Park. 30 years down the line, there was just one colony of beavers left in the entire national park. And people started realizing that there was some mistake. The authorities decided to take action. In 1995, an entire pack of wolves were introduced back to the Yellowstone National Park. 25-30 years down the line today, this is seen as one of the most important decisions which has encouraged people to think and use more of what we today know as rewilding. The well thought out and fast action taken by the authorities today has restored Yellowstone National Park to the state it was probably 100 years back. So, what is rewilding? Rewilding is the restoration of an ecosystem to an erstwhile pristine state before human intervention started. Rewilding follows the basic principle that nature left to its own knows the best. When left to its own, nature flourishes. And nature can find the right balance between the species for all plants, animals, and organisms to coexist. What happens in rewilding? Rewilding takes different forms. The first and most important step is identifying such an ecosystem which was extinct before. A rich ecosystem which had a lot of plants, animals, and organisms. The second step is to understand what actually caused the degradation of the ecosystem. Was it a human intervention? Was it something which was natural? Calamity? Once this is identified, we need to understand what were the species present and what were the predators, key predators, apex predators, which is a very important concept. And the third step is where the action starts happening, where you try to rebuild the ecosystem. And the ecosystem can be rebuilt by either building up from the foundation each of plants, organisms, species. It can be also done by introduction of certain animals, especially the key predators, the apex predators, back into the ecosystem. Rewilding basically consists of three basic elements: the core, the corridors, and the carnivores. The core is, like I said before, identifying ecosystems which had one flourishing ecosystem. The corridors is a way of connecting these cores so that the plants and organisms can move between these cores, which is very important. And the third is the carnivores, or like I said, the apex predator. I'm sure that all of us would be very interested to understand what actually happened at Yellowstone National Park. I'll tell you what happened when the wolves disappeared. One of the key roles of the wolves as the apex predator was to ensure a check of population of the other animals in their ecosystem, which included elks, which was a key herbivorous animal in their ecosystem. Obviously, other predators were there like the cougars and the bears, but then there was a limit to what they could do. Once the wolves disappeared, the population of the elks started increasing, and they started increasing multifold. There was no one to check the growth of their population. Apart from the population growth, another thing also happened. When the wolves were there, the elks always had a fear of death, a fear for life, and they kept moving, which means they were having their food at different parts. Once the wolves were not there, the fear of death, the fear for life went away. And they started sticking to one single place, which at times was probably the river banks, where the water was there was a lot of food. And what happened is the food at one particular location started depleting, which led to a loss of vegetation. And this loss of vegetation included willows, other greeneries. And willows and greens are raw materials for beavers, which they used to build the dams. Apart from being a host to different birds and small animals, the dams that beavers build does not just serve as the dams for the beavers. The dams in itself are a complete ecosystem. The dams give shade to the water, it regulates the flow of water, thereby creating an environment suitable for the certain forms of life, aquatic life. Once the raw materials for the dams were missing, the beavers stopped building dams. And the aquatic life in that Yellowstone National Park also started changing. The cascading effect is there. The wolves disappear, the elk's population grows, the vegetation gets destroyed, the beavers are not building dams, the aquatic life changes. And this is how the entire ecosystem got degraded. Today, when you look back, Yellowstone National Park, apart from being a very, very positive indication that yes, something can still be done, also serves as a reminder what human intervention can cause as damage. This year, on June 5th, on World Environment Day, when United Nations declared that the next 10 years are going to be a decade for ecosystem restoration, rewilding is definitely going to be one of the most important tools that is going to help us achieve that. Closer to home in India also we have rewilding projects going on. Prime example often quoted is the Bisalpur rewilding project in Jodhpur, Rajasthan. And this is across an area of 350 acres. The project started off in 2018 and today 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, very positive indications like an endangered species of antelope. The numbers have grown to around 150 numbers. Of late, there is also in news 8 cheetahs which are being brought down from South Africa to Madhya Pradesh, where we are trying to create an ecosystem for these cheetahs to thrive. A lot of work on rewilding is going on across the world, and I've given a couple of links in the video which you can surely browse through and understand what rewilding is about in more detail, and also see whether you can also be part of such projects. I hope that the wolf story and rewilding has been of interest to you. This is Biju Neelambaran signing off for Uli Green, where Uli Green is all about making this world green.